All right, so I'm gonna give everybody kind of some flashlights of what's been going on with my project. To me, it feels like sometimes you're just still in square one, even though when you start talking about it, you can cover a lot of bases as far as the work that has been done. But I'm gonna try to run through it pretty quick so you guys can get a heads up of how I work and materials I use and kind of where my creativity is. But any case, what I was working here recently is my center console right there. So my center console is still made out of the styrofoam, and that's kind of how I do my mock-ups, just so I can figure out contours, position of buttons, stuff like that. And so I like using the styrofoam because it is real lightweight. You can easily manipulate it using razor blade cuts and whatever, put some contour in it. And then I'll come back over this and glass this up. And then I have one solid piece, right? And so, and it keeps its rigidity. And the material costs $2. You see what I'm saying? So between the styrofoam and roofing material that I use, which is this here, is what I love to use to create contours for various parts that I make. My display unit for my dash, same roofing material that was used there. And so it's been really useful for me. I don't use styrofoams or anything like that because it's very expensive. You got to wait for it to set up, stuff like that. So, and then I cut, chop, and rebuild all the time. I mean, all the time. So, that's where we are right now. So everything is functional. You got my footprint for my display unit, AC, radio, my KC, electronic crossovers and go in a dash back over there. Got a glove compartment, got some cup holders. So I still have to put my speakers and stuff in here. My shifter sits high like that for some of those guys out there might be familiar with SLCs because I have my Cobra Misano seats. So I got to have my clearance down here at the bottom. And because of the way that mechanism is, it has to sit really high. And so it just kind of is what it is. It's comfortable for me. It's not something that sits odd or whatever. I know it's a little bit closer to the radio, but everything is Bluetooth, so it's not like you got to touch on a radio for anything anyway. Oh man. So everything in the car has been wired. Just got to do some small things, like I got my gauge down here for my fuel gauge. It's not going to be in the can for the display unit. It's going to be separate, and I'm actually have that particular gauge on the roof, so that way it can be visible. But obviously, I don't have any more space left on my dash. We've got the trifecta fuel tank, fuel pump. And then, of course, a relay sitting on top, so that way it triggers the other two fuel pumps. There's 3 fuel pumps in there. So I'll basically run around on a single, and then boost comes up, the other 2 kicks in. And basically, that's how that works. So we've got the ECU and fuel lines that bleed away from the tank and go through the bulkhead. Let's see, this area here, kind of most proud of. This is actually a lot of work. I've been working on this for the last couple of weeks, but this is the air induction that is going to be feeding the coldest amount of air that I could get going down to the turbos for the intake, because the turbos are obviously right behind this area. And so with the door closed, ooh, look how clean that is. So with the door closed, you got cool air coming off the top of the car, and it goes down here. There's 2 ports, one that goes on each side of that rail, and right where you see the breather right there is where the turbo intake is. So I still have to get the channels and connect them up here at the top in order to feed the air down there. But it gets colder air from the top of the car instead of from the street, from the side skirt. That air is going to be used to be forced through the intercooler and then out through the rest of the car. But the coldest amount of air that can go to the turbos would be in this area. I originally tried to get them from the roof scoop, but after installing all of the fuel lines, and on the other side over there you have the radiator field, there's no space for that. So had to change that idea. Let's see. Also, on the 4th of July, I spent my time getting my diffuser mounted in. So I was kind of proud of how everything kind of fit together and the spacing and whatnot. So I fabricated these parts on the side too. Don't know if I'm gonna go with that, but that's just a mock-up. But they are made out of carbon, and so I just got to stare at stuff. I'll make parts and stare at them to see if I like it, and then make changes. I've already actually made changes on these a couple of times because the angle was a little bit different as it came down. It was a little bit more aggressive like this and whatever. So I play with stuff a lot. Also glassed in on my lights. So all the housings are there for, actually those are reflectors down at the bottom, what you see over here. So you got the reflector, and then you got tail light, brake light, and then at the top you got tail light, brake light, and then my signal lights up here at the top. So that's an amber light up here that basically is the sequential light that goes all the way up and around. So I kind of like that. We got vents here too. These are not yet glassed in, but they are properly measured, so that way we can get all the heat out of here. I had to refigure how this was going to even open. You can see here I had some holes originally. This bar actually went through here, but when I put the brace back in, they were in the way, so I had to literally figure out, well, how is that going to open again? So I worked out that I had to move it back like 1.5 inches or whatever, so I do have my clearance, so everything will be opening up normally, and the gaps are there and everything lines up between here, there, and then the door. So it's been a lot of work. I am going to have a little bit of a skylight in mind. I've never seen another guy do this to his, but I kind of liked it, and so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. So I got some extra light there. I think I'm going to still fabricate the pieces to cover that up just in case. I mean, out here in Cali, we have nice days, so it's not a big deal, but sometimes, sunlight piercing in on you can kind of be annoying. So it would be something that I know I'm going to want to have covered up. I got sunroofs in all my cars. The Porsche, I've never opened it. All my cars got sunroofs, but I never seen it open them. So I know I don't want to be committed to every day I got to have that open. But I think for just the idea of doing something different on mine, I liked it. And then on a beautiful day, I can always open that up. Let's see. We got our snout up here. I had to extend it another, I think, like 10 inches or whatever. So that's the part that goes underneath it. So the snout's going to come down. I still got to figure out what I want to do in this area. And what I mean by that is I got to display my engine. I don't want this covered up. So I got to figure out what kind of plexiglass ideas I can come up with in order to make that happen. Let's see here. Jump around on the passenger side. Oh, I think I have my side skirt over here. So yeah, my side skirt's over here. It's not mounted because I still got to do, I got a glass in the top. The other side skirt on the driver's side is glassed in because there's a method of attachment that's right here. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to go over too. I've done a video before on the door switches. I've done the door switches. See, this door is not cut out yet, so I'll show you what I did on the other side. My door switches were, man, a monster of a cut chop rebuild. Hell, well, they're down here now, right? And I even had them 3 inches over there to the left and moved them over here to the right. So basically, that's how you open the door. I originally had a cavity right here. And so the button was right here at the top. But then when you open the door, because I had cut a hole right here, but when you open the door, your fingers would kind of get caught. I didn't even have this here when I was working on this. And so I just didn't factor it in the overall design. But it's just one of those things where you could be into something, but you got to look at a bigger picture. So I originally had it over here on the side. So then I was like, well, okay, I'm going to move it right here. And then when I put it right here, I made an incision. The problem was you got this gap. I mean, air would come in, you got this big hole right here, and it's like aesthetically, it just didn't flow. Like obviously this area flows right now and it's functional, but it just didn't flow. It looks stupid. So, things like that bug me. And that's why I stare at things for a long time or whatever. It's just so I can know, man, is that aesthetically correct? Is that like, man, does that make sense? I write myself my own tickets, right? So I said, nope, got to put it somewhere else. So I had to glass all that back in, and then I put it down here at the bottom. And then when I put it down here at the bottom, I was like, that's too far over here to the left. And the main reason why I was over there There's a body design that's literally right here. It's probably not as pronounced right now because it's primer, but to me, I just felt it was just too close. So I moved it over to the right. I think you got a little bit more leverage on the door when you open it. And so it's very easy to open up. I made a housing that goes over that, and everything works. I just have to put all my electronics and everything back in. And then I had to cut a little bit of a hole in the door jamb to allow for that. But that's not a biggie at all. So anyway, and also too, I'm opening the door and it's all nice and quiet. I've gone through quite a few shocks just in building in the last few months from Amazon, and you can hear like the gas in some shocks. I mean, it's a really weird sound, and they went out just by opening and closing the door, like what I'm doing now, which I was kind of blown away, and I'm glad it happened the way it did. That it just it didn't go good. What's up, Callie? It's my duck right here, huh? It's my garage buddy. Anyway, so with that said, make sure you listen out to your shocks. Make sure they're nice and quiet. They don't cost much, but I just thinking that when they start making noise, that's how you know that they're gonna probably go out. So getting around here up front, I have not figured out how I want to bracket in my hood. So I got to create the bracing for the hood to go up here up front, and then put my hood back on. My hood is back behind the car, and then notice a big hole in the bottom of my the body, I guess. I originally had a Mercedes windshield wiper in there that basically goes with the Zonda, but the problem was is that the Mercedes wiper will literally swipe off of the windshield. It was just going too far left and right. So I'm back to the original, and so that's why that hole is like that, because that assembly is it's huge. Actually, I'll show you this right over here. It's pretty big. So it's this whole assembly right here. So I had space for it. I cut it out, and that's how that went. So I'll be having to glass that back in. This is all stuff for the rear paneling. So everything up front here is operable. I've got all my lights and for my Xeon lights, they're all tucked in back there. I figured modules or whatever. I forgot the ballast. So all the ballast and everything is all wired up. Fog lights, headlights, and then daytime running lights, and also the brights. So everything is good to go up here. Let's see, you got some side skirt action. This one's not bolted in. It's just sitting here because I still got a glass in, an area on the top. My other one is glass in for the driver's side, but I had to do some glassing in. I typically will get all the way through the process on one side and then jump on the other side, and that's basically how that works. Let's see what else we got. I think that's it for right now. I mean, there's a lot of other things. I can keep going and going and going. But for the most part, that's where I am right now with my build. But everything turns on, fires up, which I like. And it was a long time coming. This overall project is a long time coming. So I'm very much excited that, hopefully I'll be driving down the street in the next few months. And, man, that's it. I welcome any comments, critiques, kudos, whatever descripts you want to put in there to be cool. You got any questions about the build, feel free to post those. But that's basically what I'm looking like right now.